What's up, everybody? Welcome to McWater's Effect. I am Matt, and today I got a couple of videos for you guys, and it has Joe Rogan talking to Elon Musk about elections. Now, the first one has to do with voter ID, the second one has to do with illegals voting. Now, these two topics are related, so stick with us. Also, please hit that like button, comment, and share this out to everybody. All right, let's take a look at the first video.
Or you need an ID for everything else,
Yes.
including just recently to prove that you were vaccinated.
The same people who are demanding that you have a vaccine passport and are the same ones saying you need no ID to vote. Same people.
Right, but like,
So it's obviously hypocritical and inconsistent.
so you really think it's just to get more voters?
If you want to understand behavior, you have to look at the incentives. So
Elon Musk is 100% right. The thing is, the incentives for people to come here into the United States is really high because when the Democrats were in power in the presidency, is because they're giving all sorts of benefits away to these people, as well as like a cell phone when they get in here. I mean, you just name it. They were getting it. Food stamps, Social Security, Medicare. I mean, everything. They're getting everything in the kitchen sink, including the kitchen sink at a house that the government would rent for them, or a motel or a hotel. So it's absolutely insane that these people wouldn't come here with that incentive. And that's the incentive that he's talking about. They came here to get that, and in return to the Democrat Party, they would vote for him.
once the Democratic Party in the U.S. and the left in Europe realized that if you have open borders and you provide a ton of government handouts, which creates a massive financial incentive for people from other countries to come to your country, and you don't prosecute them for crime, they're going to be beholden to you, and they will vote for you.
So another way to say it is the Democrat Party in the United States, as well as the far left in Europe and other places, what they're doing is trying to buy the elections. Perfect example of how we're seeing this is with Zohan Mamdani. Majority of people that are voting for him in New York are actually not natural-born citizens. These are people that came to the United States as immigrants. Some of them are legal, some of them are not. But they are all supporting Mamdani. Not only that, they weigh down the system a lot when it comes to food stamps, Medicare, Medicaid, everything. They weigh it down, including housing, so on and so forth, for the American citizens. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this other clip.
The reason you have the standoff is because if the hundreds of billions of dollars to create a financial incentive to have this giant magnet to attract illegals from every part of Earth.
Now, the standoff he's talked about is actually the shutdown of the government, because what's going on with the shutdown of the government is the Democrats are trying to create these incentives again while Trump's in office. Trump has shut down all those incentives. But the CR that they want, where it has $1.5 trillion, all of it was meant to help get more illegals into the United States.
To these states, if that is turned off, the illegals will leave because they're no longer being paid to come to the United States and stay here.
Wow.
And then they will lose a lot of voters. The Democratic Party will lose a lot of voters.
And they would have a very difficult job if this is kicked out of reintroducing it into a new bill.
Now, I want to add something to this. Legally, illegals cannot vote in federal elections, but in some states, they can vote in local and state elections. Now, in my opinion, that should be unconstitutional. That shouldn't be happening. But the thing is, in these states where you can vote in local and also state elections, you really think they're not voting in federal elections? I tend to think they are. And the thing is, when they count those votes, guess what? It gets all mixed in, and you don't know what votes you need to throw out when it comes to a federal election, what votes you don't. So they just count them all. And that's how they really bypass the system, the Democrats, in order to make sure that they're on the winning end of elections.
Yes.
Especially once things start normalizing.
Yes. So, in a nutshell, the Democratic Party wants to destroy democracy by importing voters, and the the Republican Party disagrees with
And
that.
the ruse is that if you don't accept what they're doing, then you're a threat to democracy,
Yes.
as they try to destroy democracy
Yes.
by importing voters
That is
and
literally what they're
incentivizing
doing.
people to only vote for them and overwhelming the system.
Yes. And by the way, it's a strategy that, if allowed to work, would work. And in fact, has worked. California is supermajority Democrat.
Yeah.
And there's so much gerrymandering that occurs. It's crazy.
Now, as time goes on, I believe he gets into the population and census count. See, when it comes to House seats and also when it comes to electoral college seats, that is done by population. And they count per person, whether they're legal or not, whether they're an immigrant or not. It doesn't really matter. They count the person. And that right there skews to Democrats' favor, because when you do that, you're creating more seats in states like California, New York, and Chicago, or Illinois. And that does not favor certain other states like West Virginia and other states like that, where there's not a whole lot of illegals going in there, or immigrants, that is. And not only that, that also keeps the population from changing in there, so you don't lose those House seats. And not only that, you don't lose those electoral college seats in those states, which is actually, in my opinion, cheating and fudging numbers, because in 2020, some of these electoral seats in California, New York should have changed over and went to Florida, because the way people left those states and went into those other two states. But in 2030, with what Trump's doing with deportations and also not allowing too many more people come into the United States, I have a feeling those numbers are going to correct themselves in 2030. We're just going to have to wait and see. But this is another way of the Democrats are trying to stay in power by using the illegals to make sure that they have quite a few congressional seats that aren't really real, and that's the problem with the census. The census need to count U.S. citizens, not just per person. That's just my opinion. But this is also why the Democrats are fighting so hard against ICE and Donald Trump to stop the deportations, because that right there is their lifeline to power. And when they see these people getting deported and see these people deporting themselves, they're seeing their future leave the country. And that's the reason they're losing their mind over this. That's the reason they need this government shutdown right now. And they want the Republicans to cave into their demands and give that $1.5 trillion in order to incentivize more immigrants to come to the United States and keep the ones that are still here. Because if you cut that money off, a lot of people that are still here, they're going to be leaving. They're going to go back to their original country and go back home. And quite a few of them will take that payout that the Republicans or the White House has to go back home. I think it's like $2,000 now. They'll give you $2,000. They'll pay for the plane flight and you can go home. And not only that, it does not go against your record. So if you want to come to the United States legally, you can later on. So a lot of people are going to take that deal. And as time goes on, I think that you're going to see more people leave as Trump shuts a lot of this stuff off. But guys, this is the end of the video. I hope y'all enjoyed. Please hit that like button, comment, and share this out to everybody.